You ready? Okay.
한국어 통역 다 켜셨어요? 안 되시는 분 계시나요?
Okay, for translation, do we have it all set up? Yeah, now we can open. Please open the doors for ventilation. Thank you.
그리고 진복 씨 아까 전에도 음소거를 안 하셔서 제가 했는데 그 화면 하단에 보면은 마이크가 빨간색으로 이렇게 그어져 있어야 음소거인데 그 안 하시고 계시면은 그쪽 소리 때문에 다른 사람들이 영어진 본문을 들을 수가 없어요. 그러니까 잘 봐주세요. 켜놓으시면 안 돼요. 지금은 괜찮습니다. 그리고 질문 있으신 분은 손을 들으시고 아니면 그 메뉴에 그 손 드는 그 아이콘이 있는데 그걸 들어주시거나 직접 손을 들어주시면은 저희가 음소거를 그리고 나서 음소거를 끄시고 질문을 하셔야 됩니다. 자기 순서가 됐을 때.
Okay. Hello. Hello, everyone. Excuse me.
안녕하세요, 여러분.
Thank you all for coming and to join us.
오신 걸 환영합니다.
Let me see. Let's start with some procedures first. I noticed that many of you are continuing to sit, which is a good thing to do. Remember, we try to sit longer and longer and longer. A very simple process. Okay. However, as a matter of practice, we always, for each class, I recommend you instructors as well to do this. That is, you hit the woodfish to remind people that they should walk to restore blood circulation. Chan meditation is not a substitute for exercise, physical exercise. Okay, you have to have both. So that's why when you meditate, even the patriarchs like Master Xun, Master YongHua, okay, apart from long sits, part of the Chan training is we walk. Okay, to exercise our bodies as well. Okay, so please keep that in mind. It's part of the balance between spiritual practice of your mind and your body. You cannot ignore them. Okay, there must be a balance in life. Okay, all right. The news are not good for Asia. The COVID-19 is getting worse and worse and worse. Is any of you affected at all? Are you caught a fever or got some flu symptoms or whatever? Because recently, the past month or so, one of my disciples in Portugal called in and asked for help with a co-worker who has COVID-19 and who has been in the hospital for some time and with no clear signs of improvements. So we intervene a little bit, so that person is now out of the hospital. So just want to tell you that we share in your struggles, in your difficulties. The COVID is raging right now in Asia. Many countries have it really, really bad, especially since you don't have the vaccines available to get vaccinated. I hope that you will get vaccinated because it's good protection for you. Even though many of you your skill level in Chan are high enough to be able to take care of yourself and not be injured or harmed by the virus, the COVID virus, but you should still get vaccinated to make it easier for you to move around and to not alarm the people around you that you're a potential carrier and you're spreading the virus as well, okay? This has nothing to do with politics. It's just a matter of social responsibility, all right? All right. Do we have any questions or comments at all? Let's get something straight. What we're sharing you is what I learned from the Weiyang style Chan from my late teacher, Master YongHua. So I'm really not the best person for you to learn the Weiyang. I think if, unfortunately for you, if you were, you could, I would have recommended that you learn Chan from my late teacher. He's really, really my idol. He's probably the best man I've ever met alive. I have the honor, the privilege to meet when he was still alive. And so it lasted, it created a lasting impression in my mind that I have yet to find anyone of that caliber of kindness, of compassion, of wisdom, and of abilities, okay? So what we're sharing with you is really a subset of what this Weiyang style of training in Chan is, but we're trying our best, okay? As such, in Weiyang, we really don't have anything to teach you, okay? It's nothing to teach. What I'm here, why and what I'm doing here is, even though I'm Vietnamese, well, actually French, Vietnamese, American, but I'm really very, as I get older, impressed with the Asian cultures. So in doing this, personally, I'm hoping that you will learn more from you, from the Asian cultures. Through this process, okay? So that how does that work? It works simply. Thank you. Thank you very much. It works simply by your sharing with us or asking us about some concerns or questions you might have in your daily lives, and that's how we learn from each other. I learn from what's important to you, and I can try to share with you how we would go about solving your problems. Because after all, with the time you spend together are basically, I think, maybe 3 major reasons. Number one, we sit for an hour is in order to work. Okay, it's work for us. It's hard work for us. Chan meditation is a struggle. It's from where I came from. To do Chan, to learn Chan, is supposed to be challenging for you. Okay, if it's looking for something pleasant, then go see a movie or something like that. Chan is we work hard in order to improve ourselves. Okay? Improvement requires work. In fact, today I would share with you one secret in Chan that most Asian teachers don't dare tell you anymore. Would you like to know? And you future teachers of Chan, my students, my Sanghans, or my aspiring to be Chan teachers in the future, you better learn as well, because we're all learning from each other. What is the secret that a Chan training that the Chinese have that for example, the Hinayana teachers will not teach you, or the Western meditation teachers who learn from the Asians would not teach you, okay? Because it's not popular with the Westerners, okay? So what is this thing here? Anyone would like to take a guess? You've seen me teach for 15 years. What is the one thing that Mahayana Chan, okay, or the Wei Yang Chan does that is quite distinctive of the way Chan is taught, Chan is trained, Chan is practiced? Anyone? I'm hoping that a lot of Chinese people would tell me, because that's where I learned my Chan from, the Chinese, the Japanese, and so forth. Vietnamese, Theravadan, Hinayana teachers. Anyone?
Recording in progress.
Okay. In order for you to increase your concentration power, what does it take? We keep on telling you what we try to do in order not to waste your time and our time is to help you improve. Yes? Yes, 5 fingers.
Is it enduring the suffering?
Endure the suffering. Okay? Anyone else? Is Master Xianjie here? He's going to be teaching Chan to the Caucasian people. So I need a Caucasian person to teach Caucasian people. I need a Caucasian teacher to teach Caucasian people. So Master Xianjie, what is it? What is it, Master Xianjie, that I've been making you do for 10 years now? Is he in? Is he on? Because in the future, we're going to have many of you teaching online classes like this. I would sit with you in one, like this for an hour. I would talk to you for an hour, okay? But when time for you, my students, to teach Chan, you only need to talk for about 20 minutes. That's good enough. I talked an hour is because I want to speed things up for my students. But for you, it's too much pressure, okay? Because if you do this every week, it's a lot of pressure on you. Master Xianjie, is he on? No, he's not? So convenient. Anyone else? No, he asked if he could sign on. There's a Zoom thing. Wei Mountain has a question. No question? Okay. So I guess for today, you want me to give it to you because you don't want to work hard. Yes? You want Master to work hard on your behalf, and you get all the benefits. Yes, Way Mountain, go ahead.
Venerable Shinche is fixing Master's car right now, so he's busy.
He's fixing my van, so
Yes,
he
Master.
can't join me. Since
Master.
when did he become a mechanic, auto mechanic?
He's
I thought
81.
he's more like an electrician. Okay. So anyone else here?
Jewel Mountain have an answer.
Yes.
They raised the hand.
Yes. Go ahead, Jewel Mountain Temple.
보선사 말해주세요.
Okay.
보선사 말해주세요.
I just have a question.
Yes. Go ahead.
Not answered. Master, I think in the couple last session, you mentioned that when you came to Korea last time, you enter a lay person home and you feel that the environment there is not appropriate for reciting a mantra. So we would like to know what is not appropriate there.
Did I say that? So a long time ago, so I don't remember. I'm sorry. I don't remember which home it is. But in general, the mantras are offensive weapons. And that's why even though we train our people with mantras for their own use, for their own protection, for their own benefit, but it takes a while before you're able, for any of you to learn mantras, to be able to utilize it properly. So that's why you need to be careful not to use. We teach our people, I train my students not to use them at all, only for training themselves for their own practices. And sometimes you go at home, it may not even be appropriate because some places you're reciting certain types of mantras would be offensive to the ghosts and spirits there. So that's why it's not wise to do those things. However, in general, when we transmit mantras to you, that means that we also provide some umbrella protections for you as well, so that you can practice. Mantras, by the way, do not be like online people. Nowadays, the people get online and do research, search for mantras and so forth, and practice it themselves, and they don't realize in general mantras need to be transmitted properly, because with transmission comes the proper instructions of giving you the proper mantras. A lot of mantra information you get online are distorted, are incorrect, and you have no clues. Okay, and so that's why it's not wise for you to just pick up things online and practice on your own, because you don't know how accurate the mantra is, and you really don't know what it does at all. So furthermore, to practice mantra requires protection. You don't have protection, it's very difficult for you to have success in those tantric practices. Okay. Yes, Way Mountain, go ahead.
Master, and I'm not, just a comment. I follow, not sure is it a secret of the Mahayana chant, but I used the instruction as given by you years ago about the Hua Tao. I use that for chant.
And so what's the question?
More as a comment, and I believe maybe this is a secret. You want to talk about it? Related to the secret?
Oh, no. It has nothing to do with Hua Tao. The Hua Tao that I taught you years ago is when I taught it, is in order to clarify some misconceptions about Hua Tao, because the Asians tend to be enamored of Hua Tao. For example, I went to Korea, and most Koreans who practice meditation would do Hua Tao, okay? And unfortunately, for majority of the Koreans or the Chinese, I know, Taiwanese, I've seen, they don't get anywhere because they practice it improperly, okay? It's very difficult thing to practice, and it's so demanding that it requires total commitment. It's not something you can practice casually at home. Okay? When you do Hua Tao, you practice the Hua Tao, whatever Hua Tao topic you're investigating. It requires constancy for a long time, for extended periods, okay? Years, months, years. And during those periods, you need to minimize the disruptions or interruptions. Okay? Because if you allow those interruptions or disruptions, your Hua Tao will get nowhere, and you actually can get in trouble when you get a little bit closer to the core of the practice. And so that's why it's a very, very delicate kind of practice that you need the proper environment, you need the proper instructions. In particular, you need preferably someone who understands Chan so that you will not get in trouble. Okay? It's like, let me put it this way for you. It's like you drive a car. Okay? You just learn how to drive a car. And you hop on a red Ferrari, okay? And you drive so fast that you could easily hurt yourself. Yes, driving that fast get to places a lot quicker, but also can get you into big trouble if you don't know what you're doing. Okay, so that's why when I taught this Hua Tao, is only to help remind you. There's some fundamental things about Hua Tao you need to know, and then in particular, be careful because the rule of thumb with the Hua Tao, I don't care wherever you are, whether you are in China or Vietnam or Taiwan or Korea and so forth. The rule of thumb is that you practice Hua Tao, you need commitment. You need the proper environment, you need the dedication, you need to minimize interruptions, and finally, you need to make sure that if within 3 years, this is rule of thumb, within 3 years, you're getting nowhere, back off, do something else. Practice something else. It's not for you. Okay? It's that simple. You cannot blindly go through because other people are doing it, therefore you should do it too. That's nonsense. You only chant meditation, includes Hua Tao, includes reciting the Buddha's name, includes mantras, and that's the pure chant that we're talking about. Okay? You get to Master Xinhua's level, he's a Wei Yang Chan Patriarch. He taught us all sorts of Dharma doors. He taught Hua Tao, he taught mantras, he taught reciting Buddha's name, all those things. And that's a true Chan right there. So it's not Chan, it's the only Hua Tao. So it has many ways for you, many pathways for you to practice. So for some people who have a lot of blessings, they can practice Hua Tao because remember, if you do not want to have, you want minimal interruptions in your practice, okay, then you need a lot of blessings for that to happen. Okay, and so that's why the rule of thumb in Huatou is 3 years. That's it. In 3 years, you're getting nowhere, you're not making progress, switch. That's what Chan is about. Okay, you go as far as you can and you switch if necessary. Okay, because your body is not waiting for you. Your body dies, continue to die every day. And if you are not making progress, okay, you are not in control of your own destiny. Okay, so that's a Huatou. And for this particular person who asked me about Huatou, he practiced Huatou, that's years ago, so it's about time to switch. Okay, shouldn't do Huatou anymore. You're not going anywhere. Wei Mang, go ahead.
Master, I just started today.
You started today?
Yeah.
Okay, I see you in 3 years. And in 3 years, I'll tell you right now. Switch.
And I'm gonna switch.
Wait, it's okay. I'm telling you in advance right now. In 3 years, be prepared to switch in 3 years.
I'm gonna switch tonight.
It's not for you, trust me. Huatou is not meant for you. Huatou, I recommend you do Huatou. Okay, here's a Huatou for you Koreans who are so crazy about the Huatou, which you should not be. Any Chan master should tell you that. Do not practice Huatou because it's too demanding. Okay? You're driving too fast immediately. It's not for you. Okay? By the way, when I taught Huatou, I also reminded my students that Huatou is not the fastest. Huatou is too slow for me personally. Okay? 3 years too slow for me. For me, 3 months maximum. In 3 months, if I see I'm not making progress, nothing is happening, I switch. I'm very impatient. I don't have 3 years of my life to waste on something I know is so difficult. Okay? It's too slow. Why would you want to wait 3 years? I ask you, all of you. You have 3 years of your life to try something, you have no clue what's going to happen? Not me. I'm too old for that. Okay? I don't recommend Huatou because Huatou, the one person I met who successfully practiced Huatou, okay, was in a temple environment during a Chan Chi. Okay, so that person got protection, everything's taken care of, and the proper instruction from my teacher, Master YongHua. Okay, so that's why this person succeeded. But otherwise, for the rest of you, you don't realize how difficult it is, how demanding it is. For example, I went to Korea a few years ago, and I saw so many Koreans practicing Huatou, and I saw that, I'm sorry, that they're not going anywhere, okay? I met, for example, a man who proudly told me, a lay person, who told me that he'd been practicing Huatou for 10 years. He got into trouble, and he met with most famous and well-known and well-respected Korean sunims, Korean masters, and asked them about what to do about his problem. He knows he's been stuck with this problem. And I said, yes, you're stuck in that problem, definitely. And so I said, what did you do? He says, I went and asked all the famous teachers. I have access to them. And I asked them, and he says, I talked to all of them, and none of them can help me. Okay? And so he was very sad. And the funny thing is that he has an attitude. He says, if all my Korean sunims cannot help me, who are you to help me? So he didn't even bother asking me What should I do? And if he were to ask me, I would have said, it's so easy. It can be fixed just like that. In Mahayana, Hinayana, it's not possible to fix it. But in Mahayana, it can be fixed just like that, if he were to ask me. Okay? But he had a bad attitude, so he was still struggling, and he's not going to be able to fix the problem. Okay? In Weiyang, Huatou is the many Dharma doors we have to teach you. And personally, again, I repeat for myself, Huatou is too slow. It's way too slow for me. Okay? So let me tell you, because you not going to give me the answer. That's what I've been teaching you for the last 15 years. If you want to improve, you have to struggle. What is the principle behind it? For you to increase your samadhi, you have to struggle. If it's pleasant, if you don't struggle, you're not going to improve. No. That's what the Chinese understand. The Chinese Chan understand. And that's why you look at, okay, this is my humble opinion, you look at the meditation teachers out there. If they're not pushing you, okay, you will not be able to improve. Period. If they don't encourage you to push yourself and struggle, it has to be something that's hard for you. You struggle. That's how you will continue to improve. If it's pleasant, I know some people go to meditate and they feel so blissful and om, and they sit by a river like in that novel. A person sat by the river and recited Om and became enlightened. Okay? I read that novel a long time ago. From, what's his name? Famous German novelist. This is a long time ago. And it's patterned after the life of the Buddha, Siddhartha. So anyway, he had a good life, a good secular life, very successful, very rich, enjoyed all the pleasures in life, and finally he got disappointed because he didn't bring him eternal joy, lasting happiness. So he finally gave up everything and went to a river, lived in a hut, and meditated every day by the Ganges rivers. And every day he said, Om, Om, when he became enlightened. From a Buddhist perspective, it's probably not enlightenment because he's not struggling enough. Okay? If you sit by the river and Om every day like that, you're too happy, you're too peaceful, and you're not going to be able to go to the next level. All right. He has 5 fingers.
Master, I have 2 questions. The first question is, when we go to the temple, if the abbot or abbess allow you to recite the mantra with them, is it okay? But you can still offend their ghosts and spirits because it's not our territory. But if it's in the Buddha hall, that would be okay. If the abbot say it's okay.
Yeah. For you personally, it's okay. Okay? Because I send you. If you go by your own, on your own, and you say, I want to sneak around and go to these places and don't want Master to know. That's all you have to do. then you have no more protection. You understand? Yeah. You are like our emissary, our Chan emissary. So wherever you go, we have people protecting you. But if you decide to one day says, well, you know, I think I want to do this on my own, that's where your protector will stop and say, no, you don't need us anymore. We go back and get the new assignments. All right?
And the second question is, you said that person having problem in Korea can be
Yes.
fixed just like this.
Yes.
Will you tell us how in the future and soon? I've been waiting to get to know that for a long time.
No, no, none of you in Korea, right? None of you who speaks Korean can handle it. That's why he can go all around, talk to all the Koreans. Okay, they won't be able to help him. They don't know how to fix it. Okay, it's a Mahayana solution.
Because
Hinayana people, they will not be able to fix it.
I started noticing that his problem is maybe a common problem for that level from observation.
I cannot, you don't have the skills, you're not at the level where you could fix it. It's a much higher level than that. Okay.
Yes, Master.
It's a much higher range, requires much more skill to handle the situation. Okay. You are a novice. You only been at this only several years, few years as a novice. So that's nothing. You still have so much to learn. Yes. Any other questions? Okay. I started by telling you that I have nothing to teach you. It's true, because really, Chan methods, whether it's Hua, whether it's mantras, are only tools for you to fix your problems. Okay? All these Dharma doors are created in order to help you fix your problems. All right? So, for example, in the Buddha's time, during the time where Great Master Bodhidharma went from India to China, they didn't have Hua. There's no need for Hua. Okay? It's only later that Master Weishan, Master Lingyou started using Hua to his disciples. So the Weiyang are one of the early lineages that use Hua for their teaching. And because of their teaching, I think it's Master Xiangyan, very, very famous case. Okay. So Master Xiangyan took the Master Xiangyan something like a long, long time, 10, 20, 30 years before he became enlightened. Too slow, he asked me, way too slow. I don't know about you, I'm too old to spend 30 years practicing Hua in order to become enlightened. Yes, any other questions?
There's a question two questions in Korea. First one is from 루즈. 입지 씨 질문해 주세요.
저는 그 대리주를 21번 염송하는 것을 기록하고 있는데요. 대비주를 조금 더 많이 하고 싶은 마음이 생겼어요. 몇 번이나 어떻게 하는 게 좋을까요?
So she recites the Dabecho 21 times. That's her common practice. She started feeling like she could recite more times. How many times do you recommend her to recite? And how do you think she should recite? Is there a good method to it?
where did she receive transmission of the Great Compassion Mantra? Who transmitted it to her?
데뷔주는 누구한테서 그 전수를 받으셨죠? 현지 스님한테 받으셨나요?
성산사에서
현지 스님이 하셨어요?
현지 스님이 하시는 그 데뷔참
네.
화요일 날 하는 그거를 몇 번 갔었거든요. 그래서 그
네.
한 번은 그 데뷔참 기간 동안에 감동이 왔어요. 그래서 막 눈물이 나더라고요. 그래서 그냥 제가
아니,
혼자
질문이 그게 아니라
개인적으로
전수를 해준 사람이 있어요?
개인적으로 그렇게 받은 건 아니고요.
So nobody particularly transmitted to her. She came to Jewel Mountain Temple, participated the GCR about 3 times. One time she was attending the GCR and started crying. She felt very moved with the GCR practice at Jewel Mountain Temple. So she, on her own, she decided to recite. So she started this reciting 21 times.
Okay.
Whenever she recites.
Okay, very good. We should ask for transmission for the Dabejo from Master Z. Okay, he can transmit it to her. Okay, the transmission, folks, the transmission is very important. When you practice mantras, it's best that you receive transmission from a qualified teacher. That's very important because with that transmission, okay, the teacher is actually sending help to give you protection and guidance in your practice. Okay. So in particular, in Mahayana mantras, you have to be careful. You want to make sure you see transmission. I don't know about Tibetan and all those places. Maybe they don't need to, you don't need to. But in Mahayana, we're very conservative. It's not worth it. Because remember, this Great Compassion Mantra is very, very powerful. Every time you recite it, you're going to be offending. You might be offensive. It might be, your recitation might be offensive to some invisible beings, whether it's ghosts or demons. Okay, and they might get upset at you. Okay, so that's why you need protection. You don't want to do it casually. Okay, so that's the difference between our tantric practices, Mahayana practices, versus the other. The others, you can pick up anything you want online or at your fancy, but in Mahayana, we always want to receive transmission. Okay, so receive transmission, and with the transmission, now you have protection, and then you have these problems, you can ask Master Z, the person who transmitted to you, for instruction and for help. Okay, and that's why I started by telling you that I really have nothing to teach you. If you have no problems, it's nothing for me to teach you at all. So right there is an example of why all of you should feel free to bring up things that bother you, things that you are curious about, because about your culture, about your life, about whatever, COVID-19, whatever, so that's something that we can try to help you, give you instruction to fix. That's what Chan is about. Okay. For example, in Master Wei Shan, the Ling Yo, the founder of Chan, of Wei Yang Chan, he was teaching people, and so historically, he's one of the first teachers who taught Hua to. It's recorded in that life story of Chan Master Xiang Yin. Okay, do we have that? Maybe in the future we can talk about that. The story of Master Xiang Yin. Okay, and I think I have a Google slides for that already. Okay, it's very, very famous story about the Huatou practice. Okay, what's the sound of one hand clapping or something like that. Anyway, so Master Ling Yo, or Wei Shan, he's also known as Wei Shan Master, Chan Master. He taught Huatou because that's appropriate for that particular student. So that's how Dharma doors are created, in order to help the student. The Chan instruction is given to you in order to help you. If you have no problems, no need for Chan. You should be enlightened already if you have no problems. Okay, so speak freely. Don't feel that it's only you. Because when during a class like this, you bring up these types of questions, then you're educating me about your challenges, your issues from where you are, and we have to reach back in our bag of tools and see what we have to offer you. Okay, so it's a mutual learning process. Okay, that's how Chan came about. Okay, Huatou came about, that particular Dharma door that Master Ling Yo taught Master Xiang Yin was for the sake of Master Xiang Yin, and that's how the Huatou became famous. Okay. Wei Mao.
Master, according to what you just say, for each mantra that we practice, we need, every single one of us that are your disciple, or maybe even not your disciple, need to request a transmission from you or from somebody designated by you?
I don't want everyone to come and call me, I receive transmission, please. I don't have time for that. I'm
So
just
what do
giving
we
you
do?
the general principle that you want to receive transmission from a Mahayana teacher before you practice mantras. Okay? If you practice Hinayana mantras, Tibetan mantras, it's different. I don't know how they do it. Okay, for us, this lady asked about Great Compassion mantra, and that's a Mahayana mantra, very important Mahayana mantra. And it's a one yin Dharma door that we also practice as well. So that's why I recommended that she should get some official transmission. It matters. It's not a casual thing at all. Okay. Yes?
이진복 씨 질문이 있어서 there was another outstanding question actually before Way Mountain, so let's ask.
Okay, ask.
진복 씨 질문.
So,
진복 씨 질문해
quick
주세요.
question.
Hang on. I have a...
Yeah, just to clarify, so Master, when you say receive official transmission for the people who came to our temples, meaning at Way Mountain or Go Forest or Ju Mountain Temple, that they practice with us, are they receiving, does that consider as official transmission, or they have to talk to someone to receive official transmission?
They should talk and ask for transmission. It's an official transmission. I mean, when they come to our way places and recite the mantras with us, they're under our protection already. So it's okay. But when they go off on their own and practice, that's why you have to be more careful. You understand?
Meaning, if they want to recite the mantras at home, they all need to specifically ask somebody.
Preferably, they
for-
should ask. But it's their lives. They can do whatever they want. We can't tell you. Okay? It sounds weird for us to tell them, you need our transmission from us. Or Ping Deng Jing Jing says, you should come, all of you should come and ask the master to receive transmission. And you're going to be bombarded with emails and phone calls and people knocking on our doors. We don't need that. Okay?
Because it has been that they just recite at home, our followers.
They should officially receive transmission. Okay? Yeah. Because what happened is that when we give you official transmission, actually it has a label. It said this is this is from the house of the Wei Yang house. Okay? that kind of label. And that's why now when they got interaction with the ghosts and spirits, they recognize our name. So they tend to be more cooperative. I'll give you an example. Okay. Today we have with us is what I call him the old monk. And he looks more and more handsome. I don't know what happened to him. He said, what do you guys give him to eat? He gets, he seems happier and more relaxed. Okay. He's a Vietnamese mantra teacher. Okay. He received transmission from the Vietnamese mantras from a fourth-stage arhat who passed away already. How long ago, Master Old Monk? 4 years ago, 5 years ago? Yeah. So he passed away. This particular name is Master Yiu Bong. Okay, he's very famous in Vietnam. True, typical fourth-stage arhat. Never cared for temple. Never cared for money. Never cared for reputation. Never cared for anything. And he became a monk at the age of a rightful age of 6 or 7, and he spent his entire life practicing the mantras, Vietnamese mantras, and he used those mantras in order to help a lot of people, to the point where when he got older, he got diabetes and couldn't even afford to buy medicine to treat his diabetes. And that's the kind of person he was. Okay, very remarkable man. And so I heard of him, and so I said, yes, I would like to send you back to Vietnam. When the old monk was a novice, I said, I'm going to send you back to Vietnam and ask for instructions and transmission from this great Vietnamese monk, this virtuous Vietnamese monk. So he did. And so the old monk now learned a lot of stuff, and actually the master certified him to be skilled at certain things. So for example, the old monk, okay, our old monk has now taught his peers, he hasn't taught me yet, how to do the spiritual sands, so that now with the spiritual sands, you can give protection to your houses. Okay, that's what he used to do. The Vietnamese monk, Master Yiu Bong, used to do. So he's actually, Master Yiu Bong certified that the old monk is capable of accomplishing the Dharma of spiritual sense. Okay, so you see, in our world, we're very conservative. When I learned about Master Yiu Bong, I said, you better go and receive transmission, and we're going to, get an airplane ticket for you and go there and so forth. And so we do it the proper way. You receive transmission, okay? And that's how it's done in our world. We take it very seriously. Anything else? Time is running out. Xian An still has a question. Yes, thank you for waiting.
He said because time is already up, he will ask next time.
It's okay, we still have a few more minutes.
But are you sure the question is a little bit too? The question is, can you tell us about the three guiding principles? That's the question.
Oh, that's a next time question.
Yeah, I told
You're
you
right.
so.
Okay, I should trust you more next time. Sorry. Okay. Okay. Any other short question that I can answer you within a few minutes? Way Mountain question. Go ahead.
So in the very beginning, Master, you said you were going to share about the secrets of Hinayana.
That's why you should be practicing the Hua. I gave you the answer already.
Oh, okay, that is the secret. Oh, okay, I get it. don't practice Partha. Okay, thank you.
The secret is that in order for you, see, this is for in terms of a generic rule of thumb. In order for you to improve, you want to improve, and you want to improve absolutely. Otherwise, you simply are wasting your time practicing Chan, in my opinion. If you want to improve, you have to struggle. Okay? And you don't quit. No matter how hard it is, how difficult it is, like a story of Master Xiang Yin, who practiced Hua Tou, he struggled for 30 years. 30 years. 20, 30 years. And that's how he finally made it. He struggled and struggled and struggled, and it's the tunnel is so dark. Everything is so confusing. Everything is so hopeless. They said, no, my master gave me this Dharma door. I'm going to figure it out. Okay? And so he struggled. He has it very tough for him for a long, long time. Okay? And that's the only one time that Master Wei Shan, Master Ling Yu taught him. Okay? Here's your Hua Tou, go! That's it. Very similar to how Master Hsien-Hua did to me as well. Go ahead, Wei Mountain. Jewel Mountain.
보선사 음소거를 꺼주셔야 됩니다.
What happened to the children?
질문해 주세요.
They're home? They're outside. Okay.
They're hiding in the back. Playing
Okay.
in the Buddha.
Go ahead.
네. 얼마 전에 제 친구가 어려움이 있어서 함께 절에 와서 수행을 하고 있는데요. 지난주에 분명히 질문이 있다고 했거든요. 그런데 용기를 못 내고 있는 것 같아서 네, 현주가 질문할 수 있는 기회가 있었으면 좋겠습니다. 현주야.
So Rusu says her friend has some difficulties last week and had a question, but she's not brave enough to ask the question. So she said, "Hey, my friend, you can ask questions." So now it's 현주. Okay, 해주세요.
네, 용기가 안 나고 있었는데 갑자기 용기를 내야 할 것 같습니다. 감사합니다.
So I couldn't ask the question. I wasn't brave enough. Now
네, 엄청
I need
떨리는데요.
to be. 예, 해주세요.
네, 결과부자를 열심히 하면 운명도 바뀔 수 있나요?
She says, if you sit in full lotus and put so much effort, even your destinies can change.
I missed the last question.
If you sit in full lotus and put a lot of effort, can your destinies also change?
Destiny?
Oh yeah, sorry, destinies. Sorry, yeah.
Destiny is something else. Can your
destinies.
change?
Your destiny can change too.
It could. What she's referring to is, don't call it destiny. We Buddhists don't call it destiny. We call it karmic retributions. Okay? The worldly people call it destiny because my destiny is to be rich. My destiny is to become a concubine. My destiny is, and so forth. Okay? In the Buddhism, there's no such a thing as destiny. Okay? It may be that you're supposed to become a concubine of the king, but that's what is so-called your destiny. However, however, along the path of becoming a concubine, you may encounter karmic obstructions. So Buddhism is about you learning Chan in order to learn how to resolve those karmic obstructions to your destiny. So to know about your destiny is really not helpful. It's about learning Chan to learn how to solve your obstructions solve your problems, fix your difficulties in order that you can move on, okay? So that's why the struggles is inherent in this practice, because you practice hard, you will encounter obstructions. You want it badly enough, okay? Your karmic retribution will come and try to stop you and discourage you, okay? In particular, for example, with those of you who have ideals and say, I want to spend a life to do something important, do something meaningful. And to me, meaningful is to help others, okay? You say, I want to help others. I want to help and help and help. I just met a particular person this morning. He says, I'm an acupuncturist because I have this ideal that I want to help people. And I said, it's wonderful that we all need to have ideals. Okay, we too, like you, have ideals. However, our approach is different from you. You have ideals to help others, so you went to acupuncture school and you acquired the skills to do acupuncture, okay? We are different. We also aspire to help others in our world, China world, okay? Whether it's lay people or left-home people, okay? We all are trying to acquire skills to help people. The difference is that, especially for us professionals, monks and nuns, who are really dedicated, who dedicate our lives to help people. Right, Chung Yin Suni? There you go. Thank you. Okay. The way we approach that is different from yours. You lay people go and learn worldly skills immediately to help people, whether you become a doctor, or a nurse, and so forth. For us, it's different. We learn how to deal with the retribution from helping others. The obstructions that will happen, that will come in our way for trying to help others. In particular, we learn to deal with the consequences of helping others. Whether you're a professor, or whether you are a doctor, okay? We're in the business of helping others. Yes? The others come to your office with their problems, and you're supposed to help them. When you, in the process of helping them there, you are crossing paths with people that are obstructing the people you're trying to help. And therefore, you are what we call meddling. And when you meddle, you better be prepared to deal with the consequences of meddling with others. Okay, so that's why I taught this person this morning who came and saw me. I said, I respectfully, I admire your ideal, but I look at you, I know you're an acupuncturist, but I know for a fact from your being here that you are not able to handle the retribution from healing others. Okay, because when you keep on doing this, one day your body will be so sick that your acupuncture skills will not be able to help you. That's the bottom line. Okay, so our world is different from yours. Our world is that we learn to deal with the consequences first. Okay, then once we have that skills, then we learn the worldly skills to help others because we are prepared to handle the consequences. So it lasts longer and long term. Okay? That's the difference between you and us. Wei Mountain.
Master, do we need to get transmission for bowing practice also? Because I do have problems.
No, you don't need transmission for bowing. Bowing is not it's not necessary for you to receive transmission at all. Master GFCMC bowed when he was a youngster. My late Chinese teacher bowed when he was a youngster. So So right there is a practice that tells you you don't need any transmission. The only transmission, time for transmission is make sure that when you practice Mahayana mantras, get transmission. Okay. I stress Mahayana because I'm not knowledgeable enough about how the Tibetans do it, how the Hinayana people do that, transmit mantras on their own and so forth. In Mahayana, in our mantras, I know that you definitely want to receive transmission because you need our protection. Without our protection, you cannot go very far. Okay? Because it's rather delicate. The mantras basically are tools, are weapons, if you will. And so that's why when you recite mantras, you actually are like forging a sword. Okay? And in that process, you need protection before you have a real sword you can hurt them with. Okay? And so that's why they recognize it, and that's why in Mahayana, our weapons are very, very powerful. That's why they pay special attention to us. When you recite mantras, Mahayana mantras, they would come and give you a hard time to discourage you. Okay? That's why. All right. Time is up. Any more questions? And we pick up on the question on the for next time for the 6 principles or whatever. Okay. Last chance. Any final questions? Okay. Again, let me close by telling you that Wei Mountain has a question. Go ahead. Ding dong, jing jing.
네, 마스터. 저는 지금
Oh, no,
위산사에
sorry.
있는데
Concubine.
혹시 대비주나 다주도, 측순이, 그다음에 약사주의 그 공식적인 전수 일정이 있는지 여쭙고 싶습니다.
This is my ex-concubine ask you the question.
Yes.
So her question is there any official schedule or event to transmit the Dajido, Chudoni, or medicine mantra or Great Compassion mantra at our temple?
No, just request transmission. You don't need, there's no official thing. It's a personal thing. You want to ask for transmission for yourself. That's all. It's a personal transmission, so it's no official schedule at all. Okay.
Just to clarify the last part.
Yes.
So, like for example, when Venerable Shenji had a private meeting with this particular person and recommend, you should recite the medicine mantra. We didn't say it's a transmission. Is it sort of a transmission? If he personally say you should recite this mantra already in person.
That's
person
an
to
informal transmission.
민희 씨 소리 좀 꺼주세요. 안 들려요. 예? Sorry, there was a noise. Nobody could hear you.
It's an informal transmission then. If the abbot says you should do this, that's an informal transmission. Because if he tells you to do something and you get in trouble, you can come back and blame him. So that's why it's called informal transmission. Okay, because we are casual, it's the Chinese, especially the Chinese, they want the official and they want to announce to the whole world that Master Z is about to transmit it to, his disciples and his students and so forth. We are a lot more casual, okay? So that's why we also have informal transmission by simply by saying, you should recite it. So it's informal transmission. If you accept it, then it's an informal transmission. All right? All right. That's all I have for you today. Thank you all, and see you next time.